I could eat this cake every day and still lose weight. This is a boxed cake mix that I upgraded a little bit. A little bit of tweaks, a little bit of fine tuning, but we were able to make a regular boxed cake mix and lose 800 calories. Not only that, I was able to add over 40 grams of fiber to a cake mix that had 0. We added 62 grams of protein and removed almost 90 grams of fat. And this cake still tastes insane. It's so good. So let me show you how to make it. When I first started thinking about my weight loss, I never imagined that I'd be talking about a boxed cake mix, but here we are. On its own, without the add-ins, the macros aren't horrible, but once you add in the oil and fat and dairy and everything that they want you to add in to make this fluffy cake, then it becomes horrible. Then it becomes a cake. We're gonna knock out about 800 calories. We're gonna add some fiber to help kind of slow digestion, help build satiety, which is going to keep you fuller longer. That's what that means. We're gonna add protein to it. It's gonna have everything: protein, fiber, carbs, and it's gonna be pretty tasty, I'll be honest. And now it's not gonna be cake with like the chocolate frosting on top, but it's gonna be a cake and it's gonna be a dessert and it's gonna be really good, and we're gonna add some fruit. And so let's just get going. This is really crazy. It's really simple, actually. It's incredibly simple. First thing that we need is a blender. Now, one of the main sources of our protein is going to come from firm tofu. Just gonna drain this really quick. Now I'm doing everything by weight. We need 150 grams of firm tofu tossed into a blender, which looks like about this much. It's probably 1/3 of the block. And you can give yourself a little bite of tofu because it's good for you. Everything you've heard about tofu, if you've heard bad things, is wrong. Now we also need 300 grams of soy milk, unsweetened soy milk, just the plain stuff. That's gonna be about 1¼ cup. I'm gonna quickly just blend this together. We're gonna make a cream is what we're trying to do. Not really, nothing chunky, that's for sure. Now, because this is more dense than say like your egg-based cake mix, that what they want you to do here, we need to add some acid, which is going to kind of help the leavening agents that are in the boxed cake mix rise even more, make this more fluffy. So to do that, we're gonna add some apple cider vinegar. That's gonna be 15 grams or 1 tablespoon. The acid in this will actually separate the proteins in the soy milk. That's okay, don't worry about that. In the end, all those proteins will bake together. Let's mix this up, and then we're just gonna set this aside. Now that needs to set aside for maybe 2 minutes, not a whole long time. While it's setting aside, we're gonna make a little fiber mixture here. Flax. Now this stuff is gonna work kind of like an egg, almost like a binder, but it's also going to provide some fiber. Now we need about 90 grams of water for the flax egg, which is about 1/4 cup. And then the flax is gonna be about 2 tablespoons or 14 grams. Now I'm gonna mix this up, let it sit for about 5 minutes, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor. Almost 4 years ago, I decided to change everything. I lost 110 pounds and got into the best shape of my life, and I'm still working on it. I never imagined I would be where I am today, training for my 3rd world major marathon, heading the London Marathon. And that's where today's sponsor comes in, Momentous. Momentous was started to bring credibility back to supplements. And my favorite supplement that I personally think everybody should consider is creatine. Momentous didn't invent creatine, they just perfected it. This is the first chewable creatine that meets elite level performance standards. No scoops, no mixing, no shaker bottles, just ultra consistent, easy dosing, ideal for busy routines. Each chew is 1 gram of creatine. I take 5 or 6 of these daily. And they are third-party certified, NSF certified for sport, and trusted and used by over 200 pro and collegiate teams, which that is enough for me to trust and use. Creatine supports long-term strength, energy, and cognitive performance. For me, that means healthy aging and muscle retention. It's not just for gym bros or athletes, this is something that can benefit everyone. Monica takes these, I'm trying to convince my parents to start. They really are the best idea all around. And I love that with Momentous, you get transparent, minimal formulation, no fillers, no artificial sweeteners. So gang, get 35% off your first order using my link below or scan the QR code and use code STACHE. Try Momentous creatine chews for yourself. You'll see, they're incredible. Momentous, thanks for sponsoring today's video and for creating the easiest way to take creatine. Okay, we're back. So we preheated the oven for 350 degrees. Now at this point, I'm just gonna dump the cake mix into a large bowl. Now this is just the yellow cake mix. I do think you can really get any kind. It's the only one that I tested it. God, that smells like childhood. This is growing up. This is like what my mom always made, and it was always so good. Now, that flaxseed, that only added 4 grams of fiber. We want some more fiber. So we're gonna be using psyllium husk. Now, psyllium husk is gram to gram fiber, so we're gonna be adding 9 grams of psyllium husk to this. It's gonna up our total fiber on this cake and reduce our net carbs, because the carbohydrates on this cake is 36 grams of carbs. Carbs aren't bad, carbs are fuel, they are good energy, but let's reduce that spike, that glycemic load, and make this cake a little bit more satiating and keep you fuller longer. 9 grams of psyllium husk is around a tablespoon. I ended up going 10 there. I think that's still gonna be okay. The more fiber you add, the denser this cake gets, or the less area it gets. And that's, if you want it to be a cake flavored fiber bar, that's great. You could do that. You can actually add some protein powder to it if you want to make it a thicker, denser protein bar. And the cake mix actually works overall for a few reasons. So that way we don't have any big fibery clumps. It's actually gonna kind of help whisk the cake mixture as well. I love this idea of taking this ordinarily completely unhealthy thing and making it a little bit better. Now, before I mix everything together, I'm gonna add one more thing, some frozen blueberries. I'm gonna do a cup. I'm not gonna add those in yet. We're gonna add them in last, but I do just want them ready. Now, the blueberries are not just for flavor or adding some more sweetness to it. They kind of accomplish a few things. Using the frozen blueberries, we're actually kind of adding some more volume to this. And blueberries are your kind of like lowest calorie per density fruit. It's going to add a lot of like visual volume and gut volume for a very low calorie portion. So they're gonna kind of make it feel a little bit more substantial. That's ready. I'm also gonna get my 9 by 13 inch baking dish ready, so that way nothing has to sit long. Some parchment paper. Everybody kept yelling at me about my parchment paper. I'm not scrunching it up like I'm supposed to. Okay, so let's fold in. First thing, our flax egg and our tofu mixture. You can see how thick this is. And we're just gonna do this until the flour kind of goes away. And then slowly add in our blueberries, very last, because they are weighted. One last fold. I don't really care about the blueberries getting super mixed in because they will just kind of fall to the bottom, to be honest. Okay, so you can still see a little bit of flour. I'm okay with that. I don't want it to be overmixed. This cake is a little bit different. That's why we're using parchment paper versus letting it form a crust on the bottom. Not really looking for that with this one. It's gonna come out more like a loaf. If any of my baking friends are watching, just turn away, close your eyes. Plug your ears. I know this is not the way you're supposed to do it. I know that. So excited about this. We're gonna throw this in the oven. We're gonna bake it for about 30 minutes. Now, I checked this a few times while it was baking. Once it kind of started to look like there was a little bit of a brown top, I went ahead and stuck a toothpick in. It looked pretty good. Nothing was sticking to it. I pulled it out, tried it again with the toothpick. Everything looks good. We need to let this rest on a rack for about 15 minutes. Allow it to cool down. Then I'm gonna pull it down, set it on a rack, and allow it to cool down for about an hour. And here it is. I mean, this is slick. Now you can see this is not as thick as your normal cake would be. It's definitely a little thinner than a cake, which is totally fine. Now this whole cake right here is around 2,100 calories. Now you compare that to the regular boxed cake at around 2,900 to 3,000 calories. We knocked off quite a bit of calories. This one has 62 grams of protein versus 24. In total fat, 45 grams of fat, good quality fat from the flax versus 135 grams of fat from the boxed cake mix. I'm going to cut this into 10 servings, and you can see these come out still pretty, for the amount of fiber that's in this, still pretty cakey, but also a little spongy, which is really nice. So if you wanted to, you could frost these up. I mean, just, gosh, look at that. It just comes out so good. It's so soft, it's so pillowy. Now the one bar is 212 calories, 6.2 grams of protein, 4.5 grams of fat. Wholly plant-based. It has really great nutrients all the way through. And for being pretty clean and simple, this is going to help full you up. It's gonna satiate a sweet tooth. And it really is really good. I mean, look how fluffy that is.